prepare for reading. In last night's homework reading, we were reading about Hilda and John, and they were making their way to school. Why did Hilda have to walk to school with John, Sydney?
Because they both went to the same school.
They did go to the same school, but was John new in town?
Yes.
So do you think he knew the way?
No.
He probably did not know the way, so Hilda had to go with him to make sure that he could get there. Now, when they got close to the school, someone ran out to meet Hilda, and it was her best friend. What was her best friend's name, Bethany?
Louise.
That was her best friend's name. Good job paying attention to those details in your homework. As to the chalkboard, stand and read my first word, Tiara.
Schoolyard.
That's right. A schoolyard is the grounds outside of the school where children can play before school, at recess, or maybe even after school. Stand and read my second word, Bethany Chambers.
Punts.
Pay attention to this special sound right in the middle. Try reading it again.
Pounce.
You got it. To pounce means to jump quickly onto something. Class, stand. Read our two words.
Schoolyard, house.
That's right. In today's lesson, we're going to read more about Hilda and John and their day at school. Now, when Louise ran out to meet Hilda before school, Louise had told Hilda that Pete, the school bully, was going to fight John. Now, this worried Hilda so much. She was worried what might happen at school, and we'll get to read about that today. As we read, if you're reading with good expression, I brought some suns to school today that you get to put on your desk. It's been a little cloudy outside lately, and I think we need to brighten it up in here. Turn in your books to page 19. Begin reading at the Hilda in the middle of the page, Julie.
Hilda breathed a sigh of relief when John and Nels came into the schoolhouse. Miss Dolan seemed to know John was coming. She had a seat ready for him next to Nels. Hilda tried to learn her spelling, but she kept thinking about what Pete had said. She glanced back at him just in time to see him aim a spitball at John on the other side of the room.
Thank you, Julie. Julie just read about the word spitball. Now, a spitball is very gross. It is when someone chews on a piece of paper and then they ball it up into a little ball and use it to aim it at someone. If you're throwing spitballs at people, that is not a very kind thing. Now, when they went into the schoolhouse, what caused Hilda to breathe a sigh of relief? Sarah? I don't know. What do you think, Carrie? Yes, John and Nels came in, so she knew that John had not gotten into his fight yet. Thank you, Sarah. Who did Miss Dolan plan to sit John by, Christian?
Nels.
Yep. And what did Pete aim at John from the other side of the room, Elisa? Spitball. That's right. No one likes it when people are mean to them, and Pete was already being very mean to John. It is important that we are kind to our classmates. Pick up reading, please, Leah.
John looked up quickly when the spitball hit his cheek. His dark eyes flashed as he looked around to see who had run it. Pete laughed. Hilda saw John clench his fist. She knew the fight had begun. Everyone hurried out of the schoolhouse at recess time, even Marie, who usually stayed in to read or to help Miss Dolan. Hilda held onto Louise's hand. She felt scared. Pete was so much bigger than John. What was he going to do anyway?
Thank you, Leah. Great expression. What? We have the word clench at the top of our page that Leah just read. To clench means to close tightly. Now what was that? What is the name of the thing that John did with his fist, Bethany?
He clenched his fist.
Yes, and what do you think that means if he clenched his fist, Sarah Grace?
Probably that he was going to punch someone.
Yeah, what do you think that might mean, Bethany Chambers, if he clenches his fist?
Like he's really mad.
I agree. Now, why was Hilda scared about John and Pete fighting, Carrie?
He was so much bigger and he didn't know what she did.
Yes, you're right. Would you be scared if your brother was going to be in a fight, Elsa?
Yes.
Why would you be scared?
Because he has kids and I don't want him to be.
Yes, definitely. Hilda did not want her brother fighting. She was very worried about him. Pick up reading, please, Kiara.
Everyone hurried out of the schoolhouse at recess time.
Kiara, we're in the wrong place. Pick up, please, Tiara.
It didn't take long to find out. Pete, a head taller than John, was a school bully. He had already pushed John flat on the ground. It was all John needed. Jumping up, he sprang at Pete like an angry animal. But John was no match for Pete. Pete pushed him down on the ground again and was ready to pounce on him when something struck him from behind, taking him off guard. It was Hilda, crying and angry, who had come to her new brother's rescue.
Thank you, Tira. You may be seated. How much taller did we read that Pete was than John Bethany Chambers?
A lot taller.
A lot taller, but do you remember what specifically? How much taller was he, Kaylee?
A foot.
Not quite a foot. What do you think, Joy?
A head.
Yes, how much taller was he, Kaylee?
A head.
How much, Bethany?
A head.
Yes, he was a head taller than John. Now, who caught Pete off guard when Pete and John were fighting, Julie?
Hilda.
That's right. Pete and John are not being kind to each other. We can read in Ephesians 4:32 that we should be kind one to another. Pete and John are not being good examples of this, and we know that we need to be kind to our classmates. Kira, please read.
You made him beloved, she screamed, as she grabbed Pete around the waist to keep him away from John. Before Pete could push her away, Miss Fallon appeared. Children, children, she scolded. What a way to act in the schoolyard. She turned to Hilda. Whatever has gotten into you, she explained. You will stay at recess tomorrow.
Thank you, Kiara. Great expression. As Pete and John were fighting, how did Hilda grab Pete, Samantha? That's why you grabbed him, but how did she grab him? Angrily. Where exactly did Hilda grab Pete? Christian?
Around his waist.
Yes, around his waist. Now, Miss Dolan was not happy with Hilda for getting in on the fight. What was Hilda's punishment for fighting, Haley?
She had to stay in detention.
Not quite detention. What do you think, Sydney?
She had to stay in for recess.
Yes, she did. Now, missing recess is not fun, and I know that none of you would want to miss recess. Hilda knew that it was wrong to fight, but she fought anyways. She was trying to stick up for John, but in doing so, she was not being kind to Pete. She thought that maybe she could be friends with her new brother now if she stuck up for him. Keep reading, Katie.
John picked himself up and dusted off his pants. Hilda, still crying, let go of Pete and ran to the Elise. She was just as surprised at her actions as Miss Dolan was. What had gotten into her to make her attack Pete? Well, at least she had stood up for her new brother. Maybe now they could be friends. But John had no intention of being Hilda's friend. On their way home from school, after the Larson children had turned in at their place, he looked at Hilda with a scowl.
Thank you, Katie. Great expression. Now, Katie just read two words that we need to define. The first one that she read is intention. An intention is an aim or a plan. And she also read the word scowl, which is an angry look. Now, you don't ever want anyone to look at you with a scowl. That probably would not make you very happy. What did Hilda think might happen when she got into the fight with Pete and stuck up for her brother? Sarah? She got in trouble. She did get in trouble, but what did she think might happen with her relationship with John? Oh, it'd be better. Yeah, she thought it might be better. What is the name of the look that John gave to Hilda? Sarah Grace?
A scowl.
Is a scowl a look you want to get? No, probably not. A scowl is not a kind look. John was not being kind to Hilda at all. It looks like Hilda getting into the fight with Pete was not helping things. Keep reading, please, Ida.
Let me take care of my own fights, will you? I don't need any girl helping me. Hot tears stung Hilda's eyelids. She thought he'd be pleased that she stuck up for him, but he wasn't. Hilda tossed her long braid and walked faster. He could walk alone. She didn't care. She didn't like him one tiny bit.
Thank you, Ida. Great expression. Was it right for Hilda to be thinking that she didn't like John, Ellie?
No.
It was not right. Was that kind of her?
No.
No, it wasn't. Why do you think that John did not want Hilda fighting for him, Elsa?
Because he wanted to stick up for himself in the fight.
Yeah, would you want someone fighting for you?
No.
Yeah, sometimes we want to stick up for ourselves. Is it right to be in a fight though, Joy? No, we should not fight with our classmates. The words that John was saying to Hilda were really hurting Hilda. She had been trying to stick up for him. but he was still being unkind. Kaylee, pick up reading.
Frowning angrily, Hilda marched into her house. Suddenly, she forgot to be angry. Her frown disappeared as she looked around her. The kitchen was somehow full of sunshine. Then she saw them, the new fluffy yellow curtains at the windows. Why their kitchen looked as nice as the Petersons now. No, it looked even nicer.
Kaylee, read that last paragraph and add some more expression.
Then she saw them, the new fluffy yellow curtains at the windows. Why, their kitchen looked as nice as the Petersons now. No, it looked even nicer.
Thank you, Kaylee. Tira, pick up reading.
6 loaves of freshly baked bread cooled on the table. The new mama sat busily knitting in the rocking chair by the cook stove. She smiled at Hilda. Would you like a slice of fresh bread with sugar on it? She asked. Help yourself. I think it's cool enough to cut.
Thank you, Tira. What had the new mama added to their kitchen to make it look like it was full of sunshine, Julie?
Fluffy yellow curtains.
Yes. Do you like yellow curtains?
Yeah.
They add a lot of brightness to a room. Now, what did Mama ask Hilda if she wanted to put on her bread, Leah?
Sugar.
Have you ever put sugar on bread? Me either. I don't know if it's good or not. Maybe we should try it. Hilda loved that the new kitchen looked so bright and cheery. Maybe it almost made her forget about the bad day that she was having. Pick up reading, Christian.
Hilda almost forgot about her quarrel with John as she munched the fresh bread and looked around at the cozy kitchen. I like the new curtains ever so much, she said shyly. They remind me of sunshine. The new mama looked pleased. I guess we could all use a bit of sunshine, she said, glancing at John, who just came into the kitchen with a scowl on his face. The fresh bread didn't taste as good now that Hilda remembered his angry words.
Thank you, Christian. Finish reading, please, Samantha.
Where's Louis? She asked, suddenly noticing that she wasn't there. In the barn with our papa, answered the new mama. I think I'll go out there too, said Hilda, suddenly feeling very lonesome for papa. Change your clothes first, the new mama said.
Samantha, try reading that section again. Add some more expression and be careful to be accurate in your words.
Where's Louis? She asked, suddenly noticing she wasn't there. In the barn with your papa, answered the new mama. I think I'll go out there with them too, said Hilda, suddenly feeling very lonesome for papa. Change your clothes first, the new mama said.
Thank you, Samantha. You may be seated. What made Hilda's bread suddenly begin to not taste as good, Kiara?
Seeing the look on his face.
Yeah, seeing the look on John's face. He came in and reminded her of the bad day that she had been having with him. Why do you think that Hilda wanted to go out to the barn with Papa, Joy?
So that she didn't feed us dinner.
Yeah. Did she like John very much right now? No, she did not. Close your books. Do you think at the beginning of our story that it was right for Hilda to jump into the fight with Pete, Ida?
No,
Why do you think that wasn't right?
because it wasn't really her fight.
It wasn't her fight, you're right. Why else do you think that wasn't right, Tira? You're gonna say the same thing? Yeah. It wasn't her fight, and it wasn't the right thing to do. Was John kind to Hilda after Hilda pounced at Pete, Carrie? No. No, he still wasn't kind to her. Hilda wanted to be friends with John so badly that she was willing to do anything, even to get into a fight with Pete, the bully from school. But I think she was going about it in the wrong way. Hilda was unkind to Pete, and now she was in a big quarrel with John. It didn't seem that things were going her way. Maybe she'll have to find other ways to try to become friends with Pete. For homework tonight, we're going to read pages 34 to 39. Hilda's going to visit a friend, but without her parents' permission. We'll have to read tonight to see her parents find out. Prepare for science.